Okay, my name is Jennifer Dion. I am a 7th grade special day education teacher at a middle school in California. I wish we had more time to discuss this because to try and sum it up in less than 2 minutes is extremely difficult, and I mean that in the most positive way possible. I met Mrs. Brooks because one of my son, I have 3 boys, who are now 16, 13, and 9. I met Miss Brooks as the coordinator of an after-school program at the middle school that my oldest was attending at the time. She was running an after-school program that wasn't like, they just go and they play. She actually was having them work on homework. She was actually asking them challenging questions. My first introduction to her was I was signing my child out, and she looked at me and said, "You're going to come to the parent guidance meeting, right?" And I went, "Uh-huh." And from that, we started to communicate more. So my first introduction to her was as a parent, and through that introduction, she really started to support me as a parent because I was struggling. As I said, I have 3 boys, and to be a single mom at the time, that was trying. She gave me support when I would call her completely frustrated. She gave me homework assignments, which at the time I was not really thrilled about, but actually benefited me greatly, not only in working with my own children and having a better relationship with them, but now in terms of becoming a teacher. Because the advice and the support that she gave me, the things that I've come to understand about myself, but also in general, have definitely impacted me, and I'm hoping have benefited, and from what I've seen, have benefited, the students in my class. The thing about Miss Brooks is Miss Brooks doesn't just give you the answer, because what I've learned and I'm trying to keep this specific to teaching, is that it's really about your mindset. I wasn't told that in the credential program. I wasn't told that growing up as a person. And so it's very easy to complain and feel like you don't have control over things. But in working with her and understanding that really the level of expectation of checking in with myself to see what I'm feeling, of seeing what I'm projecting out, is really what's coming back at me. So as a teacher, sometimes I get very frustrated. It happens, and I'm looking at a student going, "Why are you doing this?" What I need to stand back is check where I'm feeling with that, because the child is 12, the child is 13, and really look at, okay, what's important here? What is it that I'm feeling, and is that what's beneficial to the child? And believe me, I understand that what I'm saying, the people listening to this are thinking, "Oh my gosh, there's no way, you're frustrated, duh, you know what you're feeling." But if the goal is to do what's in the best interest of the child and teach them what I think is important, I have to try and get myself back together. Then I need to look at, okay, what am I putting out there? Sometimes what I need to teach them has nothing to do with the standards. It has nothing to do with the curriculum. It has to do with, and at least this is what's important to me, what do they need from me at that moment? Well, if they're coming in with a situation that I have no control over, that's obviously going to impact what's going on in my class. So maybe what they need from me at that moment is a calm space with some attention from me that's positive. One of the things that I really had to get used to was the mindset of things, and I keep coming back to that because Ms. Brooks would share some things with me that I really didn't understand, and it literally took me a couple of days to think about it, and then all of a sudden I got it. The latest thing that she has helped me with are these what-if questions. I find that, let's say there's a particular period, usually it's the witching hour after lunch, so that's your 5th and your 6th period, the last periods of the day. I'm tired, the kids are tired. I'm working with them on stuff that they notoriously struggle with. That's not a positive situation. So let's say I have a particular student that I'm really struggling, I feel like I can't reach. It's real easy to say, "Oh my gosh, okay, I bet they're going to come in and not do their homework today. I bet they're going to come in and be off task today." I have to work to flip my mindset and say, what if they come in and they're in a positive mood? What if they come in and I'm able to get them excited about learning? What if they come in and they give me their best? When I talk about mindset, I'm talking about my own, because I can control that. The minute I start looking at that and I start working on that, things just seem to fall into place. part of it is because I am more balanced. I am more where I want to be with the kids, and the vibe that they get, the vibrational frequency of that, I know she likes that phrase, the vibrational frequency of that, when we match, it allows me to not battle where they're at. It allows me, if they're coming in less than, to bring them up to where I'm at. Here's the kicker and the part that I enjoy. A lot of times when I think I'm ready to go and I'm going to bring them up to me, because the dynamic in the classroom is one of respect and one when they're like with me, they make me go up to them, because that's when they come up with stuff and you're just like, did you seriously just say that? Wow, okay. So I've had a couple of years where more of the stuff that I really had to focus on was maintaining being calm and centered, because there were some challenging behaviors. This year my kids are coming in, they're a little bit younger, but they're excited about learning. So I'm just as tired, but I'm tired because they're keeping me on my game, and I have to be ready to break down things and explain things without talking down to them. I don't believe in demeaning a kid because they're in a particular program. It's just a different way that I have to know how to teach them. And so I'm learning right along with them how to do that. Ms. Brooks has this way of kind of really listening to you and figuring out who you are, and things that maybe you think are weaknesses, but they are actually strengths, and things you may think are strengths, but they're actually weaknesses or obstacles in where you are hoping to get to, whatever your goals are. So I think in the past it was probably just understanding more about me. She's constantly making me check in with me, which gets very irritating, but it makes a whole lot of sense when I think about it. So in the beginning, it was probably just setting my sights higher and not buying into what everybody else is telling me is supposed to happen, but buying into what's most important for me. She also was one that encouraged me to do something that I was really passionate about. I fought teaching. I'm going to be 46. I didn't come out knowing I wanted to be a teacher. Going for something that I feel a lot of passion for, because that's what keeps you from burning out, and risking to do that. So initially it was all about risk and trusting myself. After that, it became about getting education. It could be spiritual education, it could be professional development, it could be learning how to communicate better, it could be being quiet long enough to figure out where you are. So education could mean a whole lot of different things. And both of those are still ongoing. I think now where we are, like I said, is these what if questions and a difference in mindset, trusting myself, a lot of prayer. I've always believed in a lot of prayer, but I mean, it's really, she talks a lot about when you battle in the spiritual sense. And I can tell you that it's a whole lot easier, but it's a whole lot more work too. It's a whole lot easier because you're not fighting against things because they kind of take care of themselves. But it's hard to be disciplined enough to battle spiritually. I would definitely recommend contacting Ms. Brooks. I would definitely recommend looking up the Brooks Foundation on the internet if you are not local to her. If not, I would definitely recommend surrounding yourself with people who are positive in spirit. The joke amongst teachers is the teacher lunchroom. You need to step outside of your comfort zone. You need to continue learning. Depending on where it is, you need to make sure your ducks in a row, that you yourself are centered, your home life is centered, your work life is centered, and wherever you see one of them start to go off, you need to focus on that and fix it. The Brooks and Brooks Foundation, for those of you who are not familiar how to get to it, it would be www.brooks, which is BROOKS, and the word spelled out, A-N-D, Brooks again, BROOKS.com. There's no spaces in between those. It's just that's the website address. You could also Google Yvonne Brooks. She's got a myriad of books, both free, online, ones that she has published in paperback, so you could look her up that way. If you have the blessing enough to go to her website, I would definitely recommend either downloading her classes that she provides that you can access right there, webcasts, that sort of thing. If you can catch any of her lectures, she travels around and she speaks on various topics. It is an amazing organization, and the website itself is an amazing resource. Depending on what you're looking for, you don't have to be a teacher to use this. You can be a parent, you could be a friend of a teenager who's struggling. It's a very, very good resource just in general to become a better person.